Kind of a friendly little bugger. Alright guys, Papa Pepper back again. Some of you guys have been asking about this project and how it went, so I'm going to show you what I did, what I learned, and what my plans are moving forward. So this is my just a simple cold frame that I made from some straw bales and a window pane. So I planted a number of things that some people suggested. One was some pak choy, and that was suggested by Patrice's Projects and Sapper Gardener from Essian's Family Garden. I also had Mississippi Gulf Coast Gardener suggested that I plant some kale, so I planted some Siberian Dwarf Kale. I wanted some cilantro, so I planted some of that. Then I also had some Canton bach and some Greyhound Cabbage. Patrice's Project was talking about that too, that it may be too big, so I tried some Greyhound Cabbage, just a smaller one. And here's what happened. I've removed some of the bales already, so it's kind of open. Only about half of the bales are left, and the glass is now gone. A couple things happened. Number one is I did not regulate the temperature. So out here in the Ozarks, you know, I remember at the end of December I'm wearing t-shirts. You know, then we get some days that it gets down to freezing. Then we get some 70 or 80 degree days, and I couldn't exactly run out here every time the temperature changed and vent it or close it. So it got really hot, which is why my Canton bach just went to seed, which is fine. I'll let it seed. It's attracting pollinators right now to the garden, and although you normally would like your best, strongest plants to be the ones that go to seed and stuff like that, I'll save these seeds anyway and have some on hand. Also, the pak choy, I only got 2 of them to grow, and they were tiny, and they both flowered now. So that little guy there, that little guy there. The kale has been doing good. We've been munching on it for a while. The cilantro, really good, and didn't really space either of these out or thin them at all. And then the Greyhound Cabbage is still doing well too. So the reason some of this bolted would be, I think, the heat, that it didn't really mature to a nice stout plant in the nice cool, you know, weather. It just bolted, and like I said, that's fine. I'll save some seeds. It's all food one way or another anyway for us, or the chickens or the ducks or the sheep or the goats, or, you know, somebody's going to use it. And then what I'm actually going to do is with this kale and the cabbage, I'm going to use this as like a seedling garden. So I'm going to actually try to lift some of these and locate them other places so that they can finish. So they're kind of packed in here tight. You've got a lot of them real nice and close together. So far, no worm activity, no caterpillars have found them. So I'm just going to kind of spread them out somewhere else in the garden, carefully lifting them out of the soil here, just like I transplanted the seedling from inside. These have already been hardened off. They're accustomed to the area. And then this I'll probably just keep where it is, mow it down, and let it regrow. This I'll just leave where it is, let it finish up going to seed. So I'll have these guys here. I'll be able to plant around them, move the cabbage, and move the Siberian Dwarf Kale. And this stuff is delicious. The kids ask for it by name. Dad, can I grab another one? All the time. So very cool. If I do this again, obviously I'm going to try to be able to vent it a little bit better, pay a little bit better attention to the weather. And you can see too, I mean, the Austrian winter peas are still growing up through it all. We didn't pull them all out, so that's just all good food right there. We normally come out and enjoy these. You just eat the greens. They taste a lot like peas, because they're a type of pea, but the Austrian winter pea. Enjoy that. Good way to have fresh greens all winter long, pretty much, if it's not buried in snow. And then we actually had one cilantro that I planted last year that's still alive somewhere else in the garden too, which made it through the winter, which was crazy. So this was last year's cilantro patch, and at the end of the year there was a couple of them still alive, but this one made it through the winter, which is kind of crazy. So I'm guessing it'll shoot up and go to seed here soon enough. I may just save it, because if it was hard enough to make it through the winter, and if it goes to seed, that's a pretty good parent plant. Everyone else in this area died back. I didn't treat any of them any different, so this one I would say is more cold hardy than the other one, since it lived all winter long. And my plan then is to hopefully get that to go to seed and save some seeds from that, And I might be able to have some cilantro, especially if I do this for a couple years, that's able to withstand the temperatures here throughout the winter, so I can have fresh cilantro all winter long. And I don't need to pick up, you know, $2 or $3 worth of cilantro every time Mama Pepper wants to make some guacamole or pico de gallo or some lengua tacos, some barbacoa, something like that. So that'll be good. I got you here. Let me just show off this hugel mound quick in this crazy wind. So you can see there's a lot of green up in here. I heavily seeded daikon radish, so they'll be driving down in there. And as they grow, I'll be plucking them and thinning them and eating them. And this is probably, maybe that's some chard, or is that carrots? I think that's carrots. So a number of the seeds we planted in here are sprouting, and the night crawlers out here are crazy at night. So what I like to do is grab a handful every night and toss them on top of this pile and let them work their way down and through. And then we just did some mulching recently, which is why the horseradish looks so nice. All that green down there in the middle we got from Shalom Acres. Some real nice yellow raspberries. So I'm working on it, guys. The fence is back up between the garden and the pasture, and really I just want to make this a solid rock wall. I might do that just to kind of help keep stuff out of it. We'll put the sheep back there soon enough. And then also in the going crazy realm of the garden, check out these hops. A couple of the plants are just huge right now. Some of them are sprouting up outside the garden. So these ones I actually just pull up. They've got roots on them too. When they get a little bit longer, I pull them up, trim the top off, feed that to the animals, and then save the root systems, put them in a pot so I can share with others too. So pretty cool. Hops are going to be a big wall of green here soon enough. So that was just the quick update on the cold frame. Man, there's so many lizards here. As I walk around the garden, you just hear them rustling everywhere. Very cool. That was the straw bale cold frame. If you're somewhere with more consistent temperatures in the winter, where it actually gets cold and stays cold for the most part, you're not fluctuating between like 30 or 20 degrees and 80, you know, it'll probably work better for you. And like I said, I could have vented it periodically, done some things to help. I didn't. So learned some lessons. Definitely, I mean, come on. I planted that in December. You know, I've still got more than I would have had for sure. And then I can also, I mean, okay, so the kale did really good. The cabbage did really good. The cilantro did really good. The pak choy, not so much. So guess what? If I do a cold frame like this again, I can skip the Canton bok and the pak choy, and I can just plant things like cilantro and kale and cabbage and stuff in it, and I can learn that even without venting, I've got all that good stuff going on. So, all right, guys, I'll see you soon enough. Papa out.
As always, I'm Papa Pepper, and I'd like to remind you, don't post for free. If you'd like to be part of a revolution in social media, an economic power to the people where users can actually blog for cryptocurrency, then I'd recommend that you check out steemit.com and join the revolution. Papa out.